What if the most powerful man in the Catholic Church chose humility over grandeur, a modest car over a motorcade, and compassion over condemnation? Today on Storynado, we follow the journey of a man who became the world's most unexpected pope and might just be its most beloved. His name was Jorge Mario Bergoglio, born on December 17, 1936, in Buenos Aires, Argentina. The son of Italian immigrants, he grew up in a modest neighborhood, once sweeping floors in a flower shop and working as a chemical technician. He knew struggle, and he knew people, and those roots never left him. In 1958, Jorge joined the Jesuit order, embracing a life of simplicity, scholarship, and service. As Archbishop of Buenos Aires, he took public transit, lived in a small apartment, and spent more time in the city's slums than in grand halls. He became known for championing the poor and standing with those society ignored. Then, in 2013, the world watched in surprise as white smoke rose above the Sistine Chapel. Jorge Bergoglio emerged on the Vatican balcony, not in elaborate robes, but in plain white. He chose the name Francis after the saint who gave up wealth to live among the poor. From day one, Pope Francis redefined the role of the papacy, not by changing its power, but by changing its posture. He refused the papal palace and lived in a humble guest house. He drove a Ford Focus. He greeted world leaders with warmth, but reminded them of their duty to the forgotten. And he opened the church's doors wider than they had been in generations. Under his leadership, he launched Laudato Si, the groundbreaking encyclical on climate change, calling for global ecological responsibility. He led a historic reform of the Vatican's finances, increasing transparency and confronting internal corruption. He created new pathways for divorced and remarried Catholics to feel welcomed. He simplified the process for annulments, lifting a heavy burden from many families. He initiated global synods that gave voice to ordinary Catholics, women, and laypeople like never before. He strongly advocated for refugees, immigrants, and victims of war, reminding the world that migrants are not numbers, they are people. But perhaps his greatest accomplishment wasn't found in policies, it was in presence. He washed the feet of Muslims, women, and prisoners. He embraced a man disfigured by disease without hesitation. He stood alone in a rain-soaked St. Peter's Square during the COVID-19 lockdown, blessing the world in silence, a gesture that moved millions to tears. He said 5 simple words that echoed across the globe. Who am I to judge? A turning point for many who felt forgotten by their faith. To some, he was controversial. To many more, he was courageous. And one day, when the world looks back on Pope Francis, not just as a leader, but as a human being, they may not recall every headline. But they'll remember how he made them feel. He reminded Catholics of mercy. He reminded non-Catholics of kindness. He reminded everyone that greatness has nothing to do with gold or power and everything to do with love. May we carry forward his message, that a better world starts with a softer heart, and that no matter your faith or background, compassion is always the good path. This is the story of Pope Francis. Thanks for watching.